We were seated in that ridiculously expensive restaurant, the kind she insisted had to have white tablecloths and fake politeness stitched into every gesture. Her friends laughed with that sharp, rehearsed pitch that sounded more like performance than joy. Their wine glasses never stayed empty. I was pressed to the edge of the booth, like a guest at someone else's celebration. Then she said it. "He's good with kids, but he's not a real man." I didn't react. No blink. No breath out of place. I took a calm sip of water and let her words sear their way down, slow and acidic. She laughed after, that forced cackle people give when they're pretending to joke but mean every word. Her friends snickered along, heads tilted, eyes glinting. I committed every smirking face to memory. Still, I didn't argue. I just paid the tab and slid out. The laughter echoed behind me as I stepped into the night. But that laughter cracked like thin glass when the matte black Escalade rolled up and she saw who was behind the wheel. My sister, Maureen Reckon, inked sleeves, dressed in all black, with the kind of quiet presence that never needs a second command. She nodded once. I climbed in. And right before the tinted window shut the world out, I caught my wife's smile falter into something close to panic. We used to be good. She once loved my quiet strength, the way I sat with our son through his night terrors, never once raising my voice. The meals I cooked when she stayed late at the office. The crib I built with nothing but splinters, sore palms, and no manual. But her love curdled the moment I stopped feeding her image of perfection. When I took paternity leave, she giggled to her friends that I was nesting. When I chose our son's piano recital over poker night, she looked at me like I'd forfeited manhood. What she really wanted was a husband who barked commands, interrupted waitstaff, slammed his way through the house like a storm. Someone like her father. I wasn't him. And thank God for that. Still, I stayed too long. Gave too much of myself. The first fracture wasn't her words, it was a text. A notification she hadn't meant for me to see. A group chat message. He cried at another Pixar movie. Literally married a babysitter. I sat with that message for 2 weeks. I said nothing. Just watched. Watched how she dismissed my ideas mid-sentence. How she batted her eyes at the barista, the realtor, even our kid's pediatrician, always hovering just shy of infidelity. I saw her roll her eyes when I hugged our son a little longer than she liked. So I began the slow, surgical retreat. I didn't argue. Didn't cry. I just gave her space. An inch at first. Then more. She never noticed. Narcissists rarely do, not until silence becomes a roar. I locked down my accounts. Bought a second phone. I started documenting everything, every jab, every backhanded comment. Every time she said I was too soft in front of our boy. I found a lawyer, a quiet powerhouse with cold eyes and zero tolerance for manipulators. Together, we built a case. Screenshots. Financial records. Therapist notes detailing her emotional swings. Nothing left to chance. Then came the nanny cam. Not for our son, for her. A month in, it captured what I already suspected, her co-worker stumbling in well past midnight, half-drunk, shirt barely buttoned. She kissed our sleeping boy goodnight with lipstick still smudged on her collar. I didn't confront her right away. Instead, I went back to cooking dinners for two, smiled like everything was fine, held her hand, like someone does before the inevitable. She believed I had moved past it. The truth was, I had moved on, just not the way she expected. That dinner with her friends was my last trial. I knew she'd lash out, her barbs sharpened when surrounded by her pack of onlookers. But I wanted them to hear it, too. To witness the real her. When she spat those words, "Not a real man," I stood up, settled the check, and left her with the silence she deserved. Then the Escalade arrived, and everything began to fall apart. She returned home to find the closet empty. I took my clothes, my journals, the little mementos from our son, and left her with only the furniture. She called me 20 times, demanding answers. I answered on the 21st. "Where are you?" "Somewhere quiet." "You took him?" "He asked to come." Her voice shattered as she screamed, throwing insults and threats about court battles. I told her to check her email. Inside was everything. The custody petition, videos, texts, witness statements, a psychological evaluation from the therapist we both saw, and one last attachment, a resignation letter from her boss, who stepped down after I sent proof of their late-night meetings with dates, times, and places. She broke down in court. Tried to cry manipulation, accused me of emotional distance. But the judge saw the evidence, heard the recordings, and read her own words aloud in a flat, devastating tone. The ruling? Full custody awarded to me. The house, mine. Alimony, denied. She said nothing, just sat there with smudged mascara, breathing hard through clenched teeth. The victory didn't come all at once. I didn't celebrate loudly. I moved back in, freshened the paint, and built a better bookshelf for our son. Meanwhile, she bounced between her sister's place, then a cramped one-bedroom she couldn't afford without the promotion she lost. Word traveled through mutual friends, she's quieter now, smaller. Meanwhile, I grew louder, in all the ways that truly count. My son sleeps soundly now, eats well, smiles freely. Sometimes, while walking through the park, he'll wrap his arms around me unexpectedly, and I wonder how many men would trade their pride just for this kind of peace. I never raised my voice. Didn't need to. I watched, I waited, I listened. And when the moment came, I let her have the first word. The world heard her. Then I made sure it heard me. Silence is not weakness. It's the space where a plan comes alive.